You can build an empire and still lose what matters most. This is for the entrepreneurs, leaders, and high performers who refuse to sacrifice their family, health, and purpose for success. Welcome to the No Regrets Blueprint.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Russ, thanks so much for agreeing to have this conversation with me around the opportunity to have a positively present life and to have it all. So, Russ, introduce yourself here real quick. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and I'll kind of fill them in on why you're here.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Russ Laggan. I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm currently working in the role of Vice President of Growth for eXp Realty. My territory is about half plus of the country. I'm technically US West. I run a number of territories and a number of people that are running territories under me, including Matt, you being one of them. And, I come from a long line of doing crazy stuff. I've got a bunch of wacky hobbies, including building electric bass guitars, forging knives. I used to race bicycles, race motorcycles, race triathlons. I've climbed a mountain or two, and I've got another two in my head that I still want to tackle before I die. So, just live a cool life and do cool stuff and have some fun doing it. And this is just what we do to make money to support the crazy fun stuff.
I love that, right? And one of the things that you also along with that list of awesome. One of the things that you shared with me early on when we met was, been married for how long now?
30 years, 26 of them happily.
Yeah. And you said, and to the same person.
The same person.
Right.
Yeah. 30 years, everybody's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And you know what? I think the fun part is now at 30 years, I realized that when I was younger, I expected my wife to be 100% and I expect myself to be 100%. And then I realized that the older I get, the more I realize, number one, aiming for 100% is unattainable. Number two, people say, but you lowered your standards. And I'm like, yes, I lowered my standards because I realized what I was aiming at was completely unattainable, which was making me ridiculously unhappy. So I learned really quick that if I expected 80% north in my business, if I love my business 80% plus, that's pretty damn good. Because if you got 80% of your business you like, and so 20% of the stuff you don't like, as long as it's not illegal or crazy stuff, that's a dang good business to be in. Because we expect 100%, but then again, Matt, I've said this 100 times to 1,000 people. I don't even like myself 100%. So how can I like somebody else 100%? So we get to that point where I lowered my expectations to expectations that were accurate. And I'll tell you what, it completely changed the way we interact and react. My wife and I don't fight about anything. We don't always have good days. We don't always have good months. We haven't had multiple years where it was bad, thank God. But, part of the thing is I'm focused on the good days. Do we have a bad one here and there? As long as you don't do catastrophic damage during that bad day or do something stupid that you're going to regret for the rest of your life in that bad day, it is what it is. The good news is tomorrow morning I wake up, we got a do-over. My wife wakes up happy every single morning. I wake up pissed. If you couldn't get two more opposite people. I love to be out and about. I travel all over the place for work. My wife doesn't like to leave the house. She's like, I love my house. You go away for 2 days and she starts twitching. She wakes up in the morning happy. It could be we could have the weirdest day in the world. The next morning, she's like, hi, how you doing? I love you, sweetie. And I'm just like, don't touch me. Don't come near me. Coffee won't even fix it.
So, you're someone that goes full blast and you're all in and you live life big, you work big, you play big, you've got big hobbies. How did you figure out how to counterbalance all that and be able to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there?
Getting clarity on what's important to you, I think, is the most important thing. You're the only one that can determine what's important to you. And it's funny because a lot of people will take their list of what's important to them and they'll filter it through what other people would think if they saw your list.
Sure.
And I'm like, let's just put this list in a private vault and you don't have to tell anybody at all, right? Your list is your list. There are things that you get a kick out of. I don't know, man. It's the dumbest thing in the world. My wife's like, well, what's a dragon doing in your book now? Not every book I read has a dragon in it.
A lot of mine do.
A lot of them do. A whole lot. Actually, it was 2 nights ago. I rolled over and it was 12:30 and my wife still happened to be awake for whatever reason because we got this new puppy dog, right? My wife happened to be awake and I rolled over and she looked at me. She's like, what? I'm like, there's a dragon in this book. And she's like, no shit. I'm like, no, I didn't expect there to be one. I was super surprised there's a dragon. Had no idea. This is 2 books into the series and I had no idea there was anything. So I got all excited. I'm like, that's just stupid. But I think it's what that dragon represents to me is that unlimited power, that unlimited knowledge, that timeless vastness of experience and knowledge base. I'm a massive consumer of knowledge. if I look at something, it'll drive me nuts until I know how it works or why it works. Dude, I go nuts. Right. That's how I ended up building guitars and forging knives and making crap and building houses and additions and kitchens. And I started my own concrete countertop company from scratch, knowing zero people had ever done it. Literally built it from scratch with zero knowledge and a couple of books. And this was before the internet was super popular. It was back in dial-up days, take 40 minutes to download a single picture, So, but for me, just like digging into figuring stuff out is just fascinating to me. And the only thing I don't like is computers. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with them. At the end of the day, I close my computer and I won't touch it till the next day. On the weekends, I don't open my computer on the weekends at all unless I'm looking for something on Amazon.
I love that. Entrepreneurship has so many upsides and it has some equally dangerous and damaging downsides. And one of the reasons why I invited you into this interview to have this conversation is something that you shared with me really early on. And it was almost not just a warning, it was almost a command. And then you shared to me how serious you are with it because you even have it tattooed on your forearm. And so can you share with us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, this is my crappy handwriting backwards on my forearm. So when I'm looking at it in the mirror and it reads to me, it's my mantra for many, many, many years is happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. You might say like, well, Russ, if it's been your mantra that long, why'd you tattoo it down your forearm? Because there's times when business gets so big that you lose track of what your mantra is. And there's moments when you get stuck in that I'm doing what I thought I would love and I'm doing what I thought I would enjoy and I'm doing what I thought would be the thing for me, but I'm not happy. And you can have a ton of people standing around you, Matt, and saying, but like, you've got the dream job, man. Like previous role, I was VP of recruiting for the whole country with another brokerage. And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not happy at all. Like, but you got it all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but I'm not happy. And my mantra is happy first, right? So happy first is shoot, that should be my next book, right? Happy first. A lot of people will sort their life and say, when I do this, I will be happy. When I get this, I will be happy. When I experience this, I will be happy. And the reality is you're more likely to experience those things if you're happy. So if you go into like Sean Akers' book, The Happiness Advantage, it's like the result is not what makes you happy. It's you've got to be happy during the process. Right. So it's like when you finish the race, you're happy. It's way more fun if you're happy during the race because that final moment of the race is 10, 15, 20 seconds. For me, it's throwing up in the bushes for 4 minutes. And then I'm like, I got it done. Yeah. And I got the time I wanted. Yeah. But it's like when I learned that be happy at the start of the race, be happy at the beginning of the race, be happy in the middle of the race, be happy at every step. Like, man, I'm happy for 22 minutes to being happy for 30 seconds. Right.
Yeah.
Used to be my 5K time. So it's that being happy during the process. It's like being clear. That's like, I got to find my way of making this moment happy and the next moment and the next moment to the next moment. It's not like when I complete the day, I'm happy. I'll be happy throughout the day.
Well, that's a component of being present in each moment and understanding that that's where the happiness is. I think everyone's dissatisfaction is they're looking into the future for the happiness and they don't realize that it's actually right in front of them.
It's right here, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, you asked me if I would do this with you. The answer is hell yes. Absolutely. I'll do this. Like I love doing this, right? This makes me happy. I really enjoy doing this. And there are times throughout the day when I'm not enjoying part of these, and people do strange stuff and we get into challenging things and sometimes you're overwhelmed and all that stuff. But it's like finding those moments of happiness throughout the day and finding those moments of happiness and just that, like for me, really makes me happy when I say something and people go, my gosh, I get that. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Of that. When you can open up watch that blossom, you watch their brain kind of go from like closed up like this and it starts to open up and starts to blossom into something. And you're like, it turned into a beautiful flower. And we can facilitate that in this role a lot. And sometimes it's just moments. Sometimes it's an hour, but sometimes it's just moments. And you're like, that moment, that's good. That's the one I'm going to hold on to.
Share with us. I mean, so like you gave us an example of a time where you had an awareness of despite everyone else's metrics, you were winning, but in your mind, you were like, I'm not happy. What other lessons had you had to endure to really solidify this mantra for yourself? Like, where else did you experience either that pain or that dissatisfaction that said, this is who I am enough to where it's on my arm and it's now my identity?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is, am I willing to walk away from something I'm not satisfied with? Like, I got the best paying job I've ever had in my life in 2008 when I applied to run a brokerage in Tampa. I had like 2.5 years experience. My wife's cousin was a broker of record for the office that I was at. That's how I ended up in real estate there. And then the fun part was that I got this role and then, it's like the best paying job I ever had in my life. And I realized the people that I was working with, not that they were bad people, but the way they were doing business and conducting business, and they were going to continue to conduct business, did not align with what I was doing and how I was doing it. I got to the point where I'm like, I recruited X amount of people in the last year, number one in the company, out of 17 offices. And then I've got the general manager telling me that I need to do it the way she wanted me to do it. And I'm like, you recruited 5. I recruited way more than that. And you're wanting me to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Like for me, when people ask me to do things that don't make sense, just to do it, the because I said so never flew with me ever, particularly now as an adult. If you tell me as a business owner, I will look at, like, I don't care who it is. If somebody's like, hey, I think we should do this, I'll be like, wait a second, hold on. No, like, here's why no. And there are times when you're working for somebody and you're like, well, we're going to do it that way anyway. I'm like, I refuse to bang my head on a wall. Matt, there's one good thing about banging your head against the wall is, you know what it is? There's only one.
You shared it with me. Go ahead and share it.
Stopping. That's the only good thing, right? Like I cannot do things inefficient. It doesn't make sense to me. Like my everything within me rebels against doing things inefficiently. So I'm an efficiency nut. Like I like to do things really efficiently. I like to do things that make sense. I like to do things that get results. If you're doing something that doesn't get results consistently for a long period of time, stop doing it and do something else. I'm like, well, but we committed to this path. I'm like, well, as a leader, you can say, hey, this path sucks. Let's go a different direction. Like this path is going to a cliff. By the way, once you realize that, stop. Turn around, go the other direction. I mean, that's the beauty of getting older is you realize just because I committed to a path doesn't mean I need to stay committed to that path. At this moment now, does that path still make sense? Because everything around you is changing, right? So for me, there's been those moments like I go back to this. I worked coming out of high school. I got a job, best paying job you could imagine. I was making like $13 an hour. Keep in mind, this is 1990. I was 18 years old, $13 an hour is big money, right? My dad was the general manager of a railroad, and I was in the right place at the right time to get a job on the railroad. My dad thought, maybe Russell kind of work his way up, learn some stuff, and maybe he could work his way up into leadership management or something like that. He didn't know. We didn't know. Nobody knew at that point what I'd become. So I worked on the railroad in the maintenance and way department. And my first week on the job, first day on the job, my dad drives me to where the guys were after he did the intake and did the P test and the drug test and all the rest of the stuff you have to do on the railroad. He drives me out to the job site, got a new pair of boots on, got a new pair of gloves, flannel shirt, pair of jeans. I knew nothing about nothing at that point. And he drives me out to the job site, and the job site is the railroad crew, the train crew, the track crew was taking the bridge apart. We're literally on the bridge with a crane on one end, and the guys would walk out onto a 12-inch wide I-beam, walk out and take a pair of ice hooks and squat down, grab the railroad tie, and then sideways
crab walk it over
to where the crane could reach it, and the crane would pick it up and run it off, right? The railroad ties were 300 pounds. I was a $143 dripping wet. The railroad tie was twice my weight. Good news is for me, I was on swim team my senior year of high school, and I was very, very strong for a little skinny dude. I was one of those little wiry, strong dudes. Like I'm 50 pounds heavier now at the same height. So you can imagine I'm a stick, right? And that was my first job. They didn't have safety nets. They didn't have safety ropes. We didn't wear safety helmets. We didn't wear safety glasses. It was like, here's your things. Let's go. It was like, you could die, right? Oh yeah. And by the way, they didn't block the traffic off. Cars were whizzing by under the bridge the whole time. So you go back to that moment and say like, pretty much nothing sucks as much as that. It's like, when I say it could be worse, first day on that job, like I thought I was going to die at some point. And the guys were like, your dad must hate you.
Maybe. Or he cared enough to give you a really solid lesson that would live forever with you.
Yeah. And then I ended up working on the train, and I moved, they moved me around, and then a job opened up on the train, and I got a job as a brakeman on the train, and it would pay more money. And then I was hanging on the outside of the train, running through the tracks, and a thing, and the train derailed with me hanging on the outside of it. And that's when I was like, this is stupid. Like I'm going to die doing this. This doesn't make any sense. And that's when I realized this is not for me. That's not the career for me.
Yeah.
So it's those moments when, a lot of people will say, Russ, I want to figure out what I want to do. You know how we find that out? By figuring out what you don't want to do.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Buyers don't we're in the real estate space, right? Buyers don't pick a house. They eliminate all the other houses, and the one that's left that's the least offensive is the one they end up taking. I mean, they don't go in and it's like, I'm looking for exactly what, like, nope, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that, won't do that. Neighbors suck, power lines in the back, don't want a pool, roof is blown up. Out sucks. I don't want 2 stories. I want 1 story. Like people will walk in and be like, I hate the colors. I'm like, we can change the colors. They're like, yeah, but I can't stand it. Now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Like, but you can change the colors. Does the layout work? And they're like, no, because the colors suck. I'm like, all right, fine. The chance of finding the right layout with the right colors when somebody has the same taste is slim to none. But people make decisions different ways. And for most people are scared to try stuff and find out they don't like stuff. Where for me, like, dude, I've tried it all. Like, there's nothing I won't, like, I'll try everything. And then A lot of people will try something like, I didn't like that. I'm like, well, skydiving. By the way, skydiving is a smudge overwhelming. The first time you skydive, most people are completely overwhelmed. The second time you're skydiving, you're going up there knowing what's coming. It's a completely different game when you know what's coming. The first time you're like, fear of the unknown. The second time is fear of the known. And I will tell you, fear of the known, knowing what's coming, is way more powerful than fear of the unknown sometimes. It's a matter of just being able to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it a couple times, and I'm going to do it a couple more times. And if I still don't like it in a week or a month, I probably don't like it. Bowling is kind of fun until you realize you suck at it. And if you suck at it and you're not getting any better, you're not going to enjoy it, right? But if you suck at it and you get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, you can envision a time where you're not going to suck at it, or potentially suck less enough that it's actually fun. And it's not just a beat down. I mean, golf is the same way. Golf is the most brutalizing mental sport in the world. It's like, why would you pay that much money to torture yourself? But the reality is like, you realize that there's those glimpses of greatness. It's that one swing and that one contact and that one ball flight and that one putt. If you get one of those in a round of 18, you're like, that was a great shot, right?
Where do you see most people making the biggest mistake in regards to your mantra?
They're focused on wealthy first. So the mantra's in order for a reason. Happy, healthy, wealthy. So happy first. It's like, if you're happy and unhealthy, you got a problem. If you're unhappy and unhealthy, but wealthy, you got a problem. If you're unhappy, healthy, and not wealthy, you got a problem. It's really all of them together. And the reality is, a lot of people will say, when you're wealthy, you'll be happy. And the reality is, happiness is actually a precursor to success. They find that the people that start off happy actually have a better shot at being successful in almost everything. So let me give you a perfect example. Did you realize that there was a study done, and this was in the Happiness Advantage book by Sean Aker? There was a study done where they had doctors come in and they would show them cue cards with different drugs on them and different drug interactions. And they would do this test with these flashcards to be able to see, if they understood the drugs and so forth. And they were testing their knowledge base on drugs and drug interactions. So what they did is they took one group and they did the test and they ran them through and measured everything, right? And then they took a second group, and before they made them do the test, they actually had them think a happy thought. And then they did the test, and they tested, like, I think 22 or 23% more accurate and faster just by having the happy thought. So some people say, before you do anything important, go back and remember a time when your dad was pushing you on a swing. And you remember that moment. It's like you swing forward and you kind of go a little bit weightless. And you come back and you get this little giggle, and it's like, I'm a little scared, I might fall off, but you're hanging on for dear life. And you go back, and then it gives you a little harder push. And it's scary and thrilling all at the same time. Those are the great memories you remember of your dad. Go to that memory before you take a test, and your brain makes connections at a way higher rate. And it's 20+% better connection rate by having a happy thought first. So like, before I go on stage to do something, I think something happy, right? So here's the rub. You know what they did with the doctors to make them trigger a happy thought before they did the test? They gave them a lollipop. That was it.
Yeah, there's a lot of childhood attached to that. I mean, my daughters are now like 6th grade and 9th grade. And they know that, like, there's a store in our area that they always give a lollipop when you go to the checkout.
Yeah.
They don't even want to go with me to the store for anything ever unless they know I'm going to that store. And they're like, can I go with you there? I want a lollipop, right? Like,
well, dude, everybody, like, we think we as humans are super evolved, right? When in fact, if you take your dog to Starbucks every day and they give him a little pup cup every time you go to Starbucks, you can't drive past Starbucks without your dog losing his mind, because the dog's like, pup cups that way, dummy. Like, you're like,
this is also true for my daughters too, with Starbucks.
We're not going to Starbucks today. The dog's like, no, it's right there. Right. So if you can start to intentionally put those things into your life that make you see the things that you want to see, you're going to see them more often.
Yeah.
It's a matter of being intentional on what you want to see, because we know law of attraction. Most people know law of attraction fairly well. If you just get really clear on what you want to see, it becomes 1,000 times easier to spot it. People are like, well, Russ, I'm really frustrated. I don't know which way to go. Well, it's like, what do you want your life to look like? If you're not really clear on your goals, if your goals are vague, your actions are going to be vague. The more clear you can get on your goals, the more clear you can be on your actions. So I come up to a fork in the road and I'm like, which way do I go? Well, does this one bring me more towards what I want, or does this one? Like, it's simple, right? And the secondary thing is, like, don't be afraid to try something new. Sometimes, like, a lot of people are like, well, Russ, I don't understand how to get my life to turn to the next level. You're going to have to change something. Well, I don't like change. Well, then enjoy where you're at, because that's where you're going to be. Find a way to be happy there, because you're going to be there for a long time, right? Yeah. Unless you change something, nothing changes.
Right. Right. A lot of people are reading this book because they really truly desire change. And one of the ways that we help them find that change is by creating a powerful board of directors. And there's a quote that I believe it's Jim Rohn talks about, or I should probably do a better job remembering it before I say it. However, it's a lot of people believe it's you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And that's partially true. There's a part that's missing. And the part that I really love is that you become the average of the standards of the 5 people you allow with you, right? Because just being around people is one thing, but if you're around a high producing group of individuals or people that have high standards, and then they also call you up to their standards, it's a whole different game. One of the key things that during this selection process and exploring this opportunity that I got to work with you, there was one moment really specifically that stood out that I felt really good stepping into this role, and that was when you had made me the offer. You said, "Now let me talk to your wife." Can you share that story?
Yeah, well, I think I was pretty clear. So me as a leader, I have expectations of the people that work with me and work under me. Not that you work under me. I consider you work with me, right? We
Right.
work together. And I expect you to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise, right? So if you do happy, healthy, and wealthy, people are going to call you wise. So the fourth one is people can call you. If you get these three right, people are going to be like, that dude's pretty wise, right? The fourth was earned by doing the first three well. And I told you that if for some reason, because you don't know when you get into a role like this, you can get into a role like this and be like, this is just super overwhelming and it's driving me away from my joy and happiness. There are a lot of people that see my schedule and they're like, dude, how do you do that? I kind of love what I do. It doesn't feel like, don't get me wrong, there are some days that just feel like a beatdown. It just is what it is. But I also know that I'm making a big difference. And man, for me, like number one list on my list is happy and make a difference. And the bigger the difference I can make, the better, right? So I want to help people unlock being the best them. So I expect that of all of the people that are under my employ also. Because the last thing I want to do is have a bunch of miserable people that hate their lives working with me and for me. Like that doesn't make sense. Like we want to build an environment where you're happy. It's like you got to find the way that you can be happy doing this. And if you can't do that, that's fine. So here's the thing. You're the type of person that is going to go the extra mile and you're going to dig in and you're going to do what needs to be done. And you're not going to say no to a whole lot of stuff. We're going to teach you how to say yes to the right stuff. You don't even have to say no to the wrong stuff. Just say yes to the right stuff. And if it's not the right stuff, you just don't say yes to it. But I want you saying yes to the right stuff. And you got to be happy doing that. So if at any point you're not happy, I want to know that yesterday so we can change it, fix it, adjust it. Because there's certain things and latitudes we have within business. It's like I want people in their happy place, happy space, doing what they're great at. By the way, that's what I require for myself too. You start making me do a bunch of stuff I don't love, I'm out. I will literally quit best paying job of my life. I've done it multiple times because I'm just not happy. Like I'm not doing what I love. Okay. So the next level is I call you and I'm like, hey, Matt, just want to let you know, job's yours. Thank you for choosing us, but we chose you too. Right. Because that's a two-way street. And you're like, this is so great. And my wife's here right now. And she's like, she'd love to chat with you. She'd love to meet you sometime. She's looking forward to meeting you. I'm like, well, put her on the phone. You're on vacation. Right.
Yes.
Hey, deliver good news while you're on vacation. Bad news, I'll wait till you get back.
I was so concerned that the vacation was going to go a certain direction. I was like, it worked out.
Yes, it worked out great. So I'm like, listen, if it was bad news, I would have called you after. I want to make sure you stay in your happy place, right? So good news is I was thrilled to do that. And your reaction was priceless, of course. And your wife's reaction was enthusiastic. So I'm like, put your wife on. And I was like, this is probably the first time you've actually ever talked to your husband's boss, like right out of the gate, right? And she's kind of giggling, and I was like, so here's the thing. This is the most important thing. If Matt gets to the point where he's not happy and he's frustrated and he feels like he's banging his head on the wall, I want you to call me and tell me when he's out of sorts. Because he's not going to admit it. Nobody wants to admit to their boss if they're not happy, right? So I want you to call me because there's a ton of things that we can do to get him back into his happy place. So if he's not the best him and it's starting to wreak havoc on your life, and by the way, these roles can wreak havoc on families if we let them. If that's happening, let me know because I will help him make adjustments so that it doesn't wreak havoc on your family. Because I want this to be a blessing for you guys. And I want this to be the springboard for you guys to take your business and your family's business to the next level.
Yeah.
That's just the way I roll. Right. And she's just like, I don't think I've ever talked to anybody like this in my life before.
Yeah. No. And I'm
serious.
That meant the world, right? That's everything. We talk about it. We talk about setting up stop gaps and creating no fail situations. And this is again, one of them, right? Like who's holding you accountable and are they also holding you accountable to a quality of life and a standard that you set forth, which is happiness, right? Fulfillment. Because none of it's worth it if you're miserable. Like been there, done that, been on the wrong mountain, also at rock top.
Yeah.
hitting all the metrics, winning all the awards
Yeah.
in my life.
I'm standing on the mountaintop and I'm with my climbing axe and I want to hit myself in the head with it. That's a bad scenario. Like that's not the mountain you want to be on, right?
Yeah, awesome. If you had one last lesson to share around business, relationships, and then physical or mental health and your mantra, what would you share?
Yeah, I think don't change everything. Change one small thing at a time. Change one small thing at a time. So I'm not going to go in the gym and jump on every machine. I'm going to go on the gym and I'm going to hit the machines that I need. And it's like, you got to make that one change and you've got to block it out and you got to make time for it, right? I have in my schedule, if you pull up in my calendar, you'll see there's certain things that are blocked into my calendar. And the things that are most important to me, I block into my calendar and I ignore everything else around it. It can be complete carnage. And some of my days I'll have 14, 15, 16 meetings really back to back to back all the way through, which we're working on that too. That's part of why you're here so that I don't have to do that, so I can be the best me. But there are things that are blocked into my schedule, and they're non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Period. Taking care of yourself is non-negotiable. I think most people, like even with Amy Weaver, senior VP that works with us, I'm encouraging her on a weekly basis to get that half hour break, get that 45-minute slot, get that 1 hour slot in the middle of the day so you can regroup and take a breath and recenter yourself. It's people don't take the time to do the things that are most important, and then the most important things don't happen. So you just got to block it out, schedule and make it happen, and make one small change at a time.
Yep.
One small change at a time, one small change every day makes 365 changes in a year, which makes thousands over the next year. It's not the big moves that really gets to where we want. It's the little moves. It's mostly little tiny stuff. Most of it's good. Just get that little tiny thing. That little tiny 1% thing that you're not doing can give you a 20% return in happiness.
Love it.
Love multipliers.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Out of respect for your time, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and share these lessons. This was extremely powerful. And if you're still reading and paying attention here, like take something out of this and apply it back to these frameworks and just run with it.
Yeah, run with it. Grab one thing and run with it.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much.
Remember, the goal isn't just success. It's building a life you'll never regret. If this episode impacted you, share it with someone chasing more. And I'll see you next time on the No Regrets Blueprint.